So, slept overnight here at Lake Powell. It's a beautiful, beautiful lake, beautiful setting. All the sandstone and the desert and the lake out there. Panorama around a little bit. Alright, so last night I started to show my sleeping setup before it got too dark. But anyway, it turns out I didn't really need it. But I had snapped my Osney cloak. I was showing that last night. This is my Osney cloak. So I snapped it on as a blanket over the Beast, because the Beast has the double-sided snaps. So I just snapped that on one side of the Beast, so it makes it like getting in and out. You just, like at home, you flip your covers back, get into your bed, flip your covers back over, and you're good to go. So that was my setup. I went ahead and snapped the Osney blanket or quilt, top quilt, on top of the Osney cloak. Because all this stuff is double-sided snaps. So I can snap one thing on top of another on top of that, and I could continue going if I wanted to. So, but that worked nice. And then, as I was saying, I put a ground cloth down, which is just this is just a HD ripstop poncho. You could use any poncho we make, all the same thing. I just laid it down as a ground cloth, which I rarely ever do. But the weeds around here are kind of thorny, a little, not heavy thorns, but just kind of stickery a little bit. And I just didn't want to put all this into those. Now, you know, this is slightly damp down here. The pad is slightly, just a tiny bit damp on the bottom. But I'll flip it up in the sun. In about 15 minutes, that'll be dry. This will dry off. So no big deal. I do have this. If you watched my video from about a year ago, I showed where I drove my Tahoe over. I laid this on some rocks and drove it over it, this pad, just to show how tough they are. And I showed how I ripped that thing. And I've still been using it for like almost a year, I think. And nothing has gotten any bigger, it's not any worse than it was. So you can see, even if you damage the thing, it's still usable, no problem. So anyway, we got some driving to do today, going exploring some more canyons and some more looking over some of the scenery here. So if I flip this thing back here, and I can, this fabric's a little shiny anyway, so it kind of has a little, but if I wipe my hand over it, it's almost nothing, but it's just a tiny film of moisture. And when I'm on the Beast itself, I can feel, I mean, there's nothing, you can't squeeze anything out, it's not wet at all. But when I run my hand over, I can just feel, just that when you do that, you can just feel just a tiny bit of moisture. And the sun, the breeze, that will dry that out in like 10-15 minutes. But normally I don't like to even use the ground cloth at all. And any body moisture here would have just went right into the soil. So this thing would be dry. So it's good to have good moisture handling. That's one thing that always gets you in your camping gear is, you know, if you get a buildup of moisture, then when things cool off and stuff, it can make your gear feel colder because it's got moisture in it. So all of our stuff passes moisture out. The Osney gear, or if you're using our survival blankets, any body moisture just goes through there during the night. Usually I sleep head under the covers if it's colder, and even my breathing and stuff like that doesn't make it any condensation in there or anything. All that moisture just passes straight through, and Everything's dry in the morning, so works really nice. So you can see my setting here. Really nice. Camped right on the beach at Lake Powell here in Utah. And fabulous spot, as you can see. So here's the bottom of my poncho that I use as a ground cloth. You see the moisture on it here from, this is on the underneath, so it got wetter from underneath than from me laying on it. So let's hang it in the sun for a few minutes, and that'll all dry out, evaporate off, and then I can roll that up. I've already laid my beast sleeping pad. The little dampness it has is all gone, it's dry. So I'm going to dry the poncho in the sun, then I'll lay it back on and use it to roll. I'll roll this on top of that just to keep excess sand out of it. If you've watched very long, you see most of the time I just roll it up in the sand, but since I got that out anyway, I might as well use it. So anyway, in a few minutes I'll roll that up and we'll be good to go and bug out of here. So now we're going to drive up on top of that hill up there and get another lookout shot before we head to our next location here.
There's no need to go nowhere. Just 'cause you're looking right now, you're I bet you're thinking I'm crazy. You're lucky enough to know. Give me that girl with her hair in a mess, sneaky little smile with her head on my chest. People say I'm just a rough boy. Last present, baby, woman can. I can love you the best. Screw you, man. Picked up my cell, rang my baby's bell.
you, babe. Okay, babe. I'll take a round one.
Metal creeks, break rocks.